All right, and we're live, and it is 5:22 in the AM here on the East Coast. Bechtloff in the morning. All right, and don't expect to be getting a lot of viewers this time of day, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe I got some day shift viewers. Have something to listen to as you're climbing out of bed, and getting ready to go wage cuck for the day. Sitting here with a mango Pepsi, because that's apparently a thing that exists now. Figured I'd try it. It's all right. I don't really I don't really know what to think of it exactly, but it's okay. Not as good as cherry Pepsi, but it's all right. They should make some strawberry Pepsi. That'd be the tits. But I don't believe they have that. All right, so let's see. Looks like we got one guy in the chat right now for this early morning stream. Hopefully everything sounds okay. I know that things were a little soft um, the other day when I streamed. Which, by the way, guys, you don't have to tell me in the comments when you're watching it after the fact that there were audio issues. I'm quite certain. If you're watching it and it's not live anymore, you don't need to tell me there were audio issues. At that point, I probably know there were audio issues. I guess we can get rid of the starting soon because we are starting. We have already started. We can take the meme thing down for a little bit, and let's see. First things first. Right here, I got some stuff off the wish list here recently. Animaniacs for the Game Boy, which came with the box, although the box was just smashed and whomped, but it's still okay. And the manual, I was quite surprised at that, but there it was. And Ghostbusters Ectomobile Owner's Workshop Manual. Um, that's a fun book. I was thumbing through that last night. Played a little of the Animaniacs on the Game Boy. It is basically like the Genesis version of Animaniacs, which is fantastic, by the way. But obviously scaled down on the Game Boy. I think it's missing a level. But pretty spot on, faithful demake, I guess you could almost call it. Pretty solid game to have in a Game Boy collection. And so, in other news, so we got this is happening right now. That is from Brazil. The rainforest is burning to the fucking ground, apparently. From what I've heard, some of this is due to, Brazil's got that based right wing president in there now, right? Well, the problem with right wingers, and I say this as someone who I guess I'm on the right. I don't fucking know anymore. I guess I'm considered a right winger. I spent most of my life as a libertarian who, didn't identify with right or left, and I'm finding more and more these days I don't feel that I identify with either anymore. But right wingers are just tremendously bad on environmental concerns. And I'm not talking about climate change because climate change isn't fucking real. Man-made climate change is not a thing that exists. But real environmental concerns. And, the rainforest is fucking important. We had wall-to-wall coverage when there was a fucking building burning down in France. Notre Dame. All rich people, I'll donate to put it back and all this other stuff. I'll donate to help rebuild it, all this other. This is a problem. I don't give a shit about some old fucking Catholic building burning down. Yeah, it was a pretty building and it's historic and it's sad to see it go. Who fucking cares? That was the past burning. This is the future burning. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not that big a deal. Who knows? The rainforest is massively fucking huge. It's so who knows. But it's certainly not. It's certainly something that that made me rather sad. So let's see what else I want to talk about. So we got an article on not article, a blog post. Let's be real, it's a fucking blog post. It's not an article. We got a blog post on Vox Day's blog that I want to check out here in a second. I just want to go over, check something real quick. Check the Bechtloff Facebook page because I know I've been posting some shit on there. See if there's anything I want to talk about that I'm forgetting about because I'm retarded. And okay, nothing that I'm missing. All right, so we'll take a look at this this article, this blog post. Let's see if Windows Capture works. There we go. Okay, so all right. This is off of Vox Day's blog, which is voxday.blogspot. The Value of Football from the 19th of this month. The Duke of Wellington said 10 years after the battle at Eton, the Battle of Waterloo was won here. Richard Sherman, the outspoken cornerback, has a similar perspective. I understand football teaches you values. It teaches you accountability. It teaches you work ethic. It teaches you how to be a teammate. It teaches you how to whatever. That's fine. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Here's Vox here at the bottom. Many of these things are true of all team sports, although football is special when it comes to teaching courage due to its intensely physical nature. Those who mock it as sports ball are ignorant fools and physical cowards who would never dare to line up in the trenches, either as children or adults, and will be of no utility whatsoever when the shooting starts. You know, I don't dislike Vox Day. I know I've been pissing on Teddy Spaghetti a good amount here lately because why not? But I mean, I've followed the guy's work on and off since 2003. You know, I think Summa Helvetica is a fantastic book. I think his Alt Hero stuff's pretty decent. But football has always been a fucking blind spot of his. And in the last couple of years, when it has become increasingly cucky to be an NFL fan, and it was always a little bit cucky, he was having none of it when people would say, oh, people in the comments of his blog would be like, Vox, you know, why are you worshiping a bunch of dindus who hate you? And, you know, he'd just flip out on them, ban them and all this other shit. Now, addressing the point he's making, yeah, team sports, when you're a kid, they do teach you a lot of valuable lessons. I played hockey with some friends a great deal as a kid. We just played street hockey. You know, we threw a tennis ball down, chased it around on foot. We weren't skating or nothing. I was never in a league or anything like that, but I loved playing it with friends. I loved playing basketball with friends as a kid. You know, and I was never the most physically, you know, I was never the star of any team I was on, but I didn't pull my own weight. You know, and yeah, team sports teaches you a lot of great stuff. However, because, you know, the immediate comment, Falcons, Vikings, week 1, can't wait. Huge game for both teams to start season. Yeah, see, watching team sports doesn't teach you anything. Okay? You don't learn valuable life lessons by cheering on this random bunch of dindus who hate you. As for the intense physical nature of football, I've never fucking understood this. Because I got buddies who are football fans, and they're like, it's like the Gladiators and all this other shit. Like, really? I didn't know the Gladiators could call a timeout every 3 goddamn seconds. When it comes to pure athleticism, the pure spectacle of athleticism, I find both basketball and hockey to be far more impressive than football. Now, with basketball, those guys are kind of pussies. They like to pretend like they got hurt a lot. They're like soccer players in that regard. But nonetheless, it's a bunch of 7-foot-tall motherfuckers bouncing around like goddamn Spider-Man. It's impressive. Hockey isn't remarkably impressive. The mere fact that those guys can skate. I couldn't skate to save my fucking soul. And hockey players are some tough motherfuckers. You know, there's a reason hockey, you know, the joke is in the middle of a fight, a hockey game breaks out. You know, honestly, if you told me tomorrow you're going to get jumped by either a NFL player or an NHL player, just a random NFL player or a random NHL player, you get to pick which of the two. I'll take the NFL player. Probably getting my ass whooped either way. Feel like I got a better shot there. Ever so slightly. So no, I'm not particularly impressed with the great physical, intense, athletic nature of football. And also, if you want to be, you know, in the really, really tough sport, the truly, the intense physical nature, then, okay, there's UFC. There's boxing. You know. Again, far more impressive from a purely athletic standpoint. You know. But Vox is one of those guys where he just likes football. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're having fun wrong. I think it's boring as fuck. I think it's one of the most boring fucking sports imaginable. I think it's only slightly more exciting than like baseball or golf as far as a spectator sport. Again, I don't have the attention span to watch something where they want to take a break every 3 butt fucking seconds. Right? Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second there. Brain fart. It's late for me. Early for a lot of you guys, but it's late for me. Damn it, where the hell was I? But yeah, I look, I don't think it's all that impressive. I don't think it's all that entertaining. Now, Vox likes it. That's fine. That's fine. If you like football, fucking good on you. You know? I hope you enjoy it. You know? It's a little annoying for those of us that don't like it, though, because of the sheer fucking amount that it's crammed down our throats. Right? I know who wins each fucking Super Bowl against my will. I don't want to know who's playing in the Super Bowl. I don't want to know who wins in the Super Bowl. I don't fucking care. And yet I know. Each year I know. I know how the fucking Eagles are doing around here. Trust me. I constantly know how the fucking Eagles are doing. I don't want to know. I don't care. But it's crammed down my fucking throat. And it was like that when I was a kid, too. I didn't even live in this area. I lived down in southern Maryland, you know. Waldorf, Maryland, represent. But, you know, that was considered a suburb of Washington, D.C. And Washington is a fucking football town. Redskins, all the fucking time. But yeah, I don't care. Like I like hockey, but I don't really follow hockey because you got to go like out of your way to follow hockey because no one wants to fucking talk about it. So yeah, this idea that football is special, it's the real sport. Bullshit. And that's even less true now that everyone wants to whine about, oh, they got concussions with to make them wear new helmets or gay shit like that. But again, Vox likes football. Fine. But Vox is one of those guys that has to philosophize the thing he likes. It can't just be a dumb thing he likes. Can't just be a guilty pleasure. Can't just be, this is a dumb thing I like. You know? Nope. It's got to be. It's got to be if you don't like it. Vox really, really loves watching those big muscular black men throw a funny shaped ball around. That's apparently his favorite fucking thing in the world. He's watching all those big muscular black men throw a funny shaped ball around. And if you don't like it, if you roll your eyes at that, well, you're a physical coward. And you're not going to get in the trenches. Well, I'm not particularly keen on getting in the trenches to fight some stupid fucking pointless war to make banks rich, I can tell you that much. If it makes me a physical coward, so be it. This is why I can't take fucking Teddy Spaghetti seriously anymore. This is why Teddy Spaghetti is known as Teddy Spaghetti now. Why the Revenge of the Sith guys made such fucking fools of him. And to his credit, Matt Forney saw through Teddy Spaghetti for years now. Well before I did. But yeah, he's just an insanely self-righteous, or not, a self-important idiot. It's a physical. You should see the cringy fucking comments on here. Everybody just cheering it on. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Look, I said on here once before, a couple months ago, that I don't want to be one of those guys who tries to constantly mock the sports ball fans, just because it's something I don't like. You know what I mean? But there is an element of cockiness to a lot of it. It's just, there's no getting around it, man. Somebody in the chat says, of course, have you seen two hockey players throw some fists at each other like a mauling? Oh yeah, fucking hockey players are fucking monsters, man. Football players are usually just kind of big and bulky, but they don't. I don't know. They don't have the same. Like, you watch hockey players, it's like a fucking animal. It's just going. You can almost be a fat fuck, and be good at a lot of football positions. In fact, in my high school, there was this one fat motherfucker that was on the football team, and was on it he was the same grade as me, all 4 years or something. And I mean, he was morbidly obese as a teenager. You know what I mean? He was the kind of fat guy that didn't bend his knees when he walked. Kind of fat. You know what I mean? So he says, rugby is football without pads played at hockey and soccer speed. I know, every time I watch soccer, I feel like I'm watching hockey on slow-mo. Pro wrestling is insanely tough as well, even if the outcome is predetermined. Yeah, I hesitate to call pro wrestling a sport because it's more a show. And you could almost argue those guys aren't athletes so much as they're stuntmen. But, yeah, I would say what they're doing is far more physically intense, demanding, and even dangerous than what a football player is doing. All right. Oh, folks, by the way, Streamlabs is working. Got that set up for this for the Bechtloff channel. So that's one more way you can support the show. If you want to support the show, you can check out the you can hit up the Streamlabs down. You see the link down below. There's also the YouTube Super Chats. And the PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wishlist are all ways you can support the program, as well as checking out our fine sponsor for this week, Steve's Jerky. Get you some absolutely delicious Steve's Jerky. Look, I bust on the football guys because there is this real element of cuckiness to the NFL these days. You are just cheering on a bunch of dindus who hate you. That was a Bill Maher bit back in the day. Oh, we won. No, you didn't win anything. A bunch of black guys who would hate you if they knew you won. And he's dead right. I mean, I got a lot of friends that are football fans and stuff, and I don't get it. Like I said, I could sit down and watch hockey. Hockey's entertaining. Hockey I like. I can sit down and watch basketball. I mean, and basketball's entertaining enough. I've had roommates that were big into basketball, and I've sat down and watched games with them, and it's fine. It's not necessarily what I would put on. I don't really watch TV anymore, anyways, because TV sucks now. But not necessarily what I'd put on if I was flipping to the TV. But fine, it's entertaining enough. Hockey's great. I love watching hockey. Again, I don't follow it a great deal, just because you kind of got to go out of your way to follow it. But yeah, I'll sit and watch a hockey game anytime. Hell, I actually went to a hockey game back in the day. My dad and I went to go see the Capitals back in '94, I believe. I still have the one jersey from that. The logo's all out of date. That is right when they switched to like this like eagle design. It almost looked like the Philadelphia Eagles design, only blue and white instead of green and white. But now they've sort of switched, because right before that they had a logo where it's just sort of the word Capitals and a hockey stick, and they sort of switched to a logo that kind of resembles that. So, my jersey's actually out of date. Netflix is apparently firing a lot of people in their animation divisions. That's what happened when you pause cartoons. I don't know if it was in house or anything, but the Castlevania thing on Netflix was fantastic. Somebody says, "Do you watch the Olympics?" There's been times I've got into the Olympics. Watch a little bit of the hockey on there. Back in the '90s, I watched the basketball back when they what was it? They called it the Dream Team, when they assembled just a bunch of NBA players for the Olympic basketball team, and they just fucking butchered every other country in the world every time they played it. That was back when they put like not Magic Johnson. He was already dying of AIDS at that point, I think. They put Michael Jordan. I think Larry Bird was on there. A bunch of other big stars. Shaq. I think Shaq was on there. It's just fucking brutalized. They just assembled the Avengers of fucking basketball and just tore through every other nation's fucking team. But yeah, I don't know. The sports ball shit, it's pretty cucky. And the way Vox defends it from all criticism, in that, if you don't like it, you're a pussy. That's the cringy shit that makes people hate the sports ball fans. That's why the term sports ball is even a thing. That's why there's the derision towards them. The one place I worked at for a few months, um, they actually, it was all fucking boomers working there, basically. I think there was like one guy my age, but for the most part, it was all boomers. And these guys actually followed high school fucking sports. And I'm sorry, unless you have like a son of a friend or a nephew or a son on the team, to be a grown man following high school sports, following high school football, I don't even know what to say to that, man. Somebody says Australia sometimes put up teams that has annoyed the dream team. Well worth the watch. Australia versus U.S. Yeah, I haven't really watched any Olympics in forever. I mean, a lot of the Olympic shit I could care less about. You know, there's a few things that pop up, a few sports that I'd check out, but you know, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to watch curling. Nobody's going to watch curling. You know, the Olympics is that time every 2 years where we drag out a bunch of sports that we're going to pretend we all care about. You gotta play team sports to learn all these important lessons. It's like, Fox sounds like a fucking boomer when he says that shit too. It's like, yeah, it can teach you great lessons, but come on, man. So he says college football fans call themselves by their school's team name, and despite not being on the team, it's like Americans who never served in the military calling themselves Navy SEALs. Well, the college sports thing is just, you know, aren't colleges supposed to be fucking schools? And, you know, in this area, obviously we got the Penn State shit. And, you know, every time I see it, I have to bite my tongue. Every time I see people still walking around with Penn State football shit on, I just like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know, fucking pedo state shit. You know, Coach Diddles fucking raping children, raping little boys. Not merely statutory. Because let's talk about the Sandusky thing for a minute. Because I just, it gets memory hold. Everybody wants a memory hold, and I don't want that to happen. Jerry Sandusky, assistant coach for Penn State football, was raping little boys. And when I say raping little boys, I want to make sure we understand there's no mitigating fucking factors here. He wasn't merely seducing underage boys into something that they lacked the capacity to truly consent to. He was holding them down while they scream, raping them. And Uncle Joe, good old Joe Paterno, the fucking hero around here. He's a hero, you know. He's a hero because he was a coach. That makes him a hero. He yelled at a bunch of dindoos who I guarantee you had no business being in a fucking university in the first place. He yelled at a bunch of meat fucking heads hey, make sure you throw that funny shaped ball around right. That makes him a hero. And apparently the fact that he was just looking the other way while Coach Diddles was going all Catholic priest on all these boys, that doesn't outweigh the fact that he told people to throw a ball. Oh yeah, fuck college sports. It's a fucking blight. Every time I see it on TV too, I'm like, what are any of those people majoring in? Do they even attend classes? Do they even go through the motions? So he says, I remember the one time the Olympics had a mascot they tried to make a franchise out of. There was something like Dizzy or something. This like little blue, weird looking thing. I remember that was like '96. They made like a video game on that. Somebody says, I never really got into high school sports. Granted, I have nephews who are in them, but it's only for a fleeting moment. It's funny. My best friend that I've known since high school, and I mean, he is still my best friend to this day. You know, we are like brothers. He was also on the football team, but he was on the wrestling team. He was in the now wrestling is gay. Wrestling is very, very homoerotic. I'm not talking about the WWE or whatever, although you could certainly argue there too. But wrestling, the sport, it's just really, really gay looking. I'm sorry, to an outsider, it looks very, very gay. Okay? And I would always see these pictures in the school paper, and it's like this guy's got his fucking face, in some other dude's taint or something like that. And I'm like, this is gay. Especially as a teenager. It's like, this is... I'm just and not only that, in my conservative ass school, I went to Warwick High School in Lidditz, PA. My conservative ass high school, and it was very, very religious area, very conservative area. There was a painting in the one area of the gym, the wrestling room, the one little offshoot room in the gym. There was a painting they hung up of two naked dudes wrestling. I am not making that up. Hand to fucking God. It was this Greco-Roman thing in the wrestling room. And you couldn't see like dick and balls or anything, and the way you couldn't even really see their butts the way they were kind of positioned in this painting. But it's two naked dudes wrestling this painting up. Again, in this conservative ass fucking area, and all this fucking because it was big into high school sports. This area is big into high school sports, and nobody saw anything. You're immature if you think that's fucking gay. Right? You're immature. I'm like, well, then I guess I'll be immature. Okay? I'll be the immature guy who only gets pussy and not ass for the rest of my life, then I guess. If that's maturity, then I'll sing the Toys R Us song, I Don't Want to Grow Up. All right? So, my buddy, he's in the wrestling team. And I kept busting his balls. I'm like, he's so gay. I'm just busting his balls. I'm just making gay jokes at him all the time. He's like, whatever. You're immature. Fine. I'm immature. Sure, whatever. Well, I remember the one time, it was like Friday, and I'm like, hey, man, you want to hang out after school and go see a movie or something? I don't know what the fuck we're going to do, whatever. I'm like, you want to go do something after school? And he was like, oh, I got a wrestling practice. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I don't want to get in the way of your gay orgy then. You go ahead. He's like, it's not like that. You're immature. So, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I get a call from him. He said, you want to hang out? Like, I thought you had wrestling practice. Oh, I'm not doing it anymore. Well, what happened? I don't want to talk about it. What do you mean? I don't want to talk about it. Okay, fine. I think it was like Sunday. I finally got him to fucking tell me what happened. What had happened, what had happened was, and I thought you were supposed to wear fucking cups in this. I don't even know how the fuck this happened, but he was supposed to wrestle this guy. I guess it wasn't practice. Now, I kept saying practice. I guess it wasn't practice. I guess it was an actual fucking match or something. But he was supposed to wrestle this guy that I believe was from another school. And this guy had about at least half a chub. This guy had a fucking boner. And my buddy, he's like, I don't want to do this. And the coach is like, stop being immature. Like, you get out. And my buddy was just like, you know what? I'm done. Put the shit down and just walked away. And it's funny. He doesn't like me telling that. I love telling that story because it fucking vindicates my ass. Okay. That, as far as I'm concerned, is up there with James McDonald turning out to proving to the world that he was a shitbag. As far as me getting vindicated. That's one of the earliest stories of I kept saying something. Everybody kept telling me I was dead wrong. And something comes along and fucking vindicates me. So he doesn't like me telling that story. But I don't know why. Because as far as I'm concerned, he's the only sane motherfucker in that story apart from me. Because he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, you're being immature. It's like, you're fags is what. Oh, God. I remember, too. It was like that later after I found out what was going on. And like this one, I can't remember his name, but he was the fucking principal's son, and he knew it, you know what I mean? He knew he'd get away with shit. But he was on the football team, he was on the wrestling team too, and he was trying to give Chase a bunch of shit for quitting the wrestling team. And I remember I kind of stuck up for him a little bit, and I'm like, dude, you're a fag, and I guess you're just mad that he's not a fag too. And he was, he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass, Bechtloff. I'm like, hey, you stay away from my ass, homo. All right, I don't. I do not swing that way. I think he like grabbed my shirt or something. I don't know. Just started going like rape, rape. like it's. Oh man. Yeah, he didn't like me telling that story. I love telling that story though. That's one of my favorite stories to fucking tell. I said I've told him before. I said if I outlive you, just know I will tell that story at your funeral. Again, doesn't make you look bad. Makes you just seem fucking reasonable. Somebody says, you ever see the movie The Fan? It had Patton Oswalt as a sports nerd who gets super obsessed with one player and starts to stalk him. I have not, but that sounds kind of interesting. For up to me, Sandusky and Paterno would be poisoned via carbon monoxide. If we're up to me, the football program at Penn State University would be forever abolished. And, yeah, the statues of Joe Paterno, the fact that there are statues of him in the first fucking place, but the statues of him would be gone. Yeah. Sandusky's dead, but I would actually dig him up just so that we could bury him upside down. Oh, man. Yeah, sorry, guys. Just don't get it with the sports ball stuff, you know. The sports ball obsessions. Just don't get it. You know, don't get the, oh, we won. Oh, and was it this past Super Bowl or no? Was it? I guess 2 Super Bowls ago now. The fucking Eagles won. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl for the first time, and won. By the way, I don't like the fact that I know that the Eagles had only been at one Super Bowl. Why do I know that little bit of trivia? I don't give a shit, but it's just information that's been forced on me. And you can rest assured that everybody was going fucking nuts about it in this area. Holy hell. The place I was working at, that's where the fucking boomers were that follow high school sports. And I was new there. I only stayed there for a few months, and then they did this. A lot of companies do this shit. They bring in temps, and they tell the temp service, "Oh, we're totally looking to hire," and they just bring them in for the busy season, and then 3 months later, they just get rid of all the temps. Which I wouldn't mind if you didn't just bullshit the temp agency into saying that we're looking to get people to hire. But the reason they do that is because, you know, if they just say, oh, we're just looking for somebody for 3 months, that person's not going to be busting their ass trying to impress to get hired onto the company. You know what I mean? So a lot of companies do that shady shit. Where they're like, yeah, we're totally going to hire you. And then at the end of the 90 days, they're just like, you know, they get rid of that batch of temps because their busy season's done. Well, that was one of those places that had done that. I wasn't too sad about it because it wasn't that nice of a place to work, but whatever. Actually, kind of sucked in a lot of ways. But anyways, I remember, like, that day after the Super Bowl, we were fucking short-staffed, and I'm kind of new, so, you know, I'm really busting my ass, because, and this is, like, a crew of, like, I don't know, like, maybe there's, like, 10 to a dozen people working in this warehouse, and at least 4 people, I remember, had called off, because they just, I guess, just got too fucking shit-faced last night. The grown-ass men that I worked with couldn't make it into work that day because they stayed up too late the night before celebrating the victory of a bunch of dintus who hate them. Somebody says, oh, you get that too. At least if they tell you up front, it'd be more commendable. Yeah, but they don't do that shit on purpose. Because they want you to be busting your ass because you're trying to impress them and all that other shit. Oh, yeah, we're totally higher in full time. Yeah. Yeah, they'll pull that shit on you. So the reason I'm up right now, guys, at 6:03 in the a.m. here on the wonderful East Coast, the only time zone that matters, is because I had my schedule shifted this week from the usual 3:30 p.m. to 12 to a 7 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. And the reason for that is the work I do is very hot. It's a very hot box factory. We use a lot of lava in the making of these boxes. Very complicated process. But we get certain red days where the heat wave's too much and the power company browns us out. And also, when the heat wave's that bad, there's insurance reasons. They don't want nobody getting heat stroke. Somebody actually got heat stroke. Had to go to the hospital just yesterday. So that's why it's Bechtloff in the morning right now. If I was on this more long term, I'd throw together I'd have like a list of the traffic and weather in like random cities and shit like that. Try maybe throw up like a fake prep burger thing. Pretend to prank call somebody, something like that. All right. So a couple of things planning. I'm gonna do a gaming stream. Maybe tomorrow night or Friday. Friday morning or Saturday morning. And what I'm kind of thinking of doing is starting it off with not just one game. I think I'm gonna start it off with a little bit of Pac-Man 256. Pac-Man 256, if you don't know, it's like an ongoing randomly generated maze, and you're running away from the glitch, the wall of glitch. In the original Pac-Man, if you got to level 256, and I don't know how anybody ever fucking did that, because I could barely get to level 10. I was never particularly good at Pac-Man. I liked it a lot as a kid, but I was never particularly good at it. But if you got to 256, that for whatever reason was the highest number of levels the game could keep track of, and it would just shit the bed. And level 256, half of it was all glitched out, and like the game would start, but like if you went into the glitch half, I guess the game just came to an end or crashed immediately or something like that. Well, Pac-Man 256 is taking that idea. The glitch is coming to get you. It's a fun little game. So start off with a little bit of that. Because I'm not particularly good at Pac-Man. Probably will get a bunch of game overs and just DSP rage quit. And then we're going to play some Oddworld. Because I saw Oddworld's for pretty cheap on Steam. I think I'm going to pick it up. And, I should say Oddworld. There was a bunch of Oddworld games. Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, the first one. Because that's the one I had back in the day. Great game, too. Great world building in that game, too. Oh, man. I'm kind of looking forward to hopping back into that game. So that'll probably be a Bechtloff in the morning. A little later here. That's something I'm hoping to get done. And yeah, that's the plans going forward. Like I said, if you want to support the show, there's the Streamlabs, there's the YouTube Super Chats, there's a PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wish list are all ways to support the show. And as I said earlier, some fine folks recently got me oh, that's the wrong picture. Fine folks recently got me something off the Amazon wish list. A couple of things came in the mail. Wednesday, I should say, since it's now Thursday morning. Somebody says the Oddworld games blew my mind as a kid. I only played Well, I shouldn't say that. As a kid, for the longest time, I only played Abe's Odyssey. I've recently, believe it or not, there is an Oddworld game on the original Game Boy, and it's what is it called? It's like Abe's Adventure. It's basically just, it's that same sort of Prince of Persia cinematic platformer type thing, obviously with the graphics massively scaled down, but it's basically just the Paramite Temple stuff, a little shrunken down. But it's an interesting little supplemental material. You know, if they ever throw together an Oddworld collection or something, I kind of hope they include it, just because of the interesting little bit of history it is. In fact, let's real quick. We're gonna see if we can find. I want to show you all because it is very interesting. Let's see if I can find it. Find some footage of it. Oddworld Adventures is apparently called. Here we go. This is a channel called The Biomorph 493. Yeah, the graphics are rough. Obviously, it's a Game Boy. Let me show you some actual game footage. So, interesting little thing. I didn't know it existed for the longest time, and I saw it at a retro game store, and just for the fact that it was an Oddworld game on the Game Boy, had to pick it up. It wasn't even cheap. I mean, as far as Game Boy games go, I think it was like $11.95, which it might actually go for more than that now. I don't know. Oh, well, I'm going to have to get to bed here soon. Some of you probably starting your day. I don't envy you in that. I'm just not a morning guy. I tell you, those times I've worked first shift in the past, I've hated it. I hate getting up in the morning. You know, even with the second shift jerking me around sometimes for the, somebody says Oddworld Abe for Smash. I'd rather him being Smash than that fucking tuxedo mask looking motherfucker from Persona. From that weeb shit series that I never heard of till the fifth one came out. I think Abe's a little bit more iconic in my humble opinion. But anyways, all the times I've worked first, I can't say, especially early first shifts. Man, that one I was telling you about with all the boomers and the football fans and all, I had to get up at fucking 4 a.m. for that. I hated that so much. Even the really nice job I had for about 5 years there, from like from 2012 to 2017, and I liked it a lot. But man, it was 9 to 5:30, and I had to get up at 8 for that, and I didn't even like that. I'm just not a morning guy, man. I've always been a night guy since I was a wee lad, and I'm probably I'm in my mid 30s now. If I was gonna outgrow that, I would have by now. I'm just a night guy. And the great thing about second shift, and this is something many of you listen to this, you're first shifters, you're getting up for the day. This is the thing you can, second shift, you're never home in the evening. Oh, you can't do anything. What? So what? Who cares? But here's the thing. I don't need an alarm clock. I mean, I have one for the rare occasions I need one, but I don't set it. You know when I get up? Like, I'm going to go to bed here soon. And you know when I'm going to get up, guys? I'm going to wake up when I'm done sleeping. That's the beauty of second shift. You get up when you're done sleeping. All right, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. We got the PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wish list down below, which are all ways you support the show, as well as checking out the sponsor, which is Steve's Jerky. Because if you check out the sponsor, that makes him want to keep being a sponsor, and that helps me out. Plus, then you get some delicious Steve's Jerky, and that helps you out. So that's all we got for today. That's all we got for this morning. Enjoy your Thursday, folks. Bechtloff out.